Hey Bammers, welcome to another video of my skills of how to become a mangaka. My name is Mustiaki and I've been uploading a couple of videos where you can see me draw on a project or different projects. And in those projects I'll just show you what I'm doing, and I had many comments about if I could narrate my videos, and I can do that. Let me talk with my hand because I can't show my face. I can do that, but it's much more time consuming, so because I have to do the whole process. So I'm not sure if it's gonna work out or not. I'm gonna try. If it's not gonna work out, then don't be sad about it. The initial thought about my skills videos is just showing you what I'm working on and give you something in the time that I'm not working on my vlogs or mailbag or interviews or whatever kind of videos that How to Bam is supposed to be doing, or the plans that I have with How to Bam. So I'm just uploading some my skills videos just to show you guys, like, this is what I'm working on. Maybe you can pick something up. For instance, how to do sketches and inking and line work, speed lines and stuff like that. But I definitely see where you guys are coming from. Of course, it would be much more improved if there was a narration on it, just to show you my thoughts and why I'm doing some of the things, the decisions that I make, of why I'm putting that line there and not there and stuff like that. So this is the first attempt. So let's see if it works or not. I'm now working on a mangafication, or a mangafy, I have to say, for Manga Yourself. It's this drawing, and I quickly get the picture for you, and you have the comparison. It's this picture, and I made it into this. Now, it's a for this version it's an anime, so it's going to be full color. Oh, messing up here. I'm supposed to be zooming out. Yeah, like that. All right, so I'll show you just a bit of how it works, or how it looks like. So he's got his laptop and he wants some DNA stram, or how do you call it, DNA symbol here in his hand. So I have to do something with coloring, and this has to be light up, so I have to see how that works. But yeah, I colored already more of a flat color, and you're already seen in my other videos that I put, I think it's number 4 or 5 or maybe 6 even, is that I did some coloring there. So that's not something special. Flat colorings, just like you do on school, on primary school, is just fill in the lines within the lines, actually. So that's not something special. But now the shading, and that's something that some of you might have trouble with. I can understand, because it's all got to do with lighting and where you're gonna decide where the shadow is going to be and the light is going to be, and that can be a pickle. I can understand that. I sometimes struggle with it myself, and not necessarily on where to put the shadow, as in like if it is natural and if it's correct, but more like what kind of style are you going for, what kind of thing are you want to go for, and that can be different kinds of things. It can have something to do with your own style, or the emotions and feeling that you want to go with. For now, because I want to keep it pretty natural and more the focus on him, and I want to make it too dark, more, not emotional, but more highlighting the person itself, and more, a bit more like the picture is actually. So let me get it one more time. Well, here you see that the light's coming more from the left side and lighting up, and the shadow is more on the right side. It's not very hard light. It's not like a very big contrast that you see the shadows very clearly. It's more fade away. But I'm going to do it the opposite way, because I'm more like it, like the light is coming from this side, like it's got his back in a way. don't know why, but it feels more cool that way. So it doesn't have to be all correct or something like that, but I use two light points, one from the right side, that's the main light, and a little light, like it's more in the back, just to have his face shown. Like you got many pictures that do that, and that's got a very cool effect. Like you got a nice line on the face and on the clothes with lighting, but the biggest lighting is coming from up here from the right side. So we got a shadow over here, and I just worked with that. I'm just working, I just did the shadow on his face, and I'm working from top to bottom. So now I'm doing his arm, and you can already see that it looks pretty muscular. So that's also something that you want to be careful with or for, is that if you put a lot of shadow here, it's gonna look more muscular because you're gonna accent like he's got really big biceps and stuff like that. So that's a decision thing you have to do. I just wanted to show you guys how to do it. Now, this guy isn't very like Captain America or something, so he isn't really buff, but you can see that he trained a bit. He's got a bigger arm. So don't want to accent it too much. I think this is fine. You can do it a little bit. I'm just working away with the shadow. So the shadow is so the light, if the lights come from this side, I'm just gonna do a bit of shadowing here. Not too much of a shadow, but because the light is coming from this side, he's standing, his body is in between the light source and his arm, so the shadow will fall over his hand. So maybe just the tips are maybe not in shadow. A way of how I work with coloring is that you can see here is my Photoshop layers. I'm doing this in Photoshop, all the coloring, and I did already the flat coloring, like you know, just one color of his skin, and I made one layer, called it skin, and put it over here, and then I'm having this layer attached to this one, and that means that I can work outside of this and it won't spill or bleed. So I can stay neatly in between the lines that I already created, and that's pretty cool. Another way of doing that is just if you get just the skin line and you lock it with this layer, you can also have that same effect. Only if you make mistakes, you can't go back that easily. You just have to color again and again. And I like to have more control, so I like to put more layers in there, and if I don't like it, I can just correct it really fast and easy, and that's my working style and process. I like to work fast and easy, so that's basically it. So I'm just gonna color this a bit fast. Let's see how it works, and it's all about figuring things out, or although it's for me, it's figuring things out. And what I'm doing now is I'm drawing on the same layer, so I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, this is the layer I have to draw over here. All right. Another reason why I didn't put narration in my videos is mostly because I like to put on a lot of music, loud music when I draw. It just keeps me in that emotion, gets me motivated and stuff. And when I'm putting on a loud music, then you can't hear my voice, of course. And especially when I'm going to edit stuff, then you will hear just the music cutting off and going on and in between songs, and you got that whole copyright stuff issue. So I'm not a fan of doing the narrations because of that. But now I'm using headphones, which is pretty interesting because I can hear the music, but at the same time I want to listen to the music. I still want to talk to you guys, so that's a challenge actually. So, but I'm just gonna try it anyway. I'm just gonna erase this because this isn't supposed to be colored, and now it's because of this one. I don't know if this is going to be interesting for you and if you want to see the whole video, because it's me basically, yeah, just talking, and I think a bit of nonsense actually. So I don't know if you're gonna like this video or not. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see more narrated videos like this, because it's not very hard to do. So it's possible. So I'm doing this again because I'm just looking for ways, like, okay, the lighting is coming over his body is in front of the light actually, so you have to decide where the light is coming from now. And as you can see in his face, like his forehead is still light up. I could do like this, and then the light would be more behind him. You know, it turns, and then it would be more like this. And that's a way that could work, and maybe I'll still do that. But I like to see how it works with, like I said, that you have the light over here, that there's a light source over here and a light source over here. So that means that the shadow would still, or the light, sorry, would still be around this area behind him and not all the way back, but a bit here and a light source over here. So that's the same thing we have to copy for over here. Let's see, this would be shadow. The light will come over here. This will be shadow because it's close to his finger. And everything that's close to each other actually will be shadowed, unless it's coming from the other side. Like here in between will be shadow. Under here will be shadow because this is covering the light, like his finger is covering the light. I'm putting this more to the left because I think his body will be more leaning over him a bit, covering more of the light. I think this is going to be shadow as well. And that's just figuring things out, just piece by piece. And I'm doing it a bit slower now because I'm narrating at the same time, and that's also a challenge. I'm just figuring things out, like, will this work? Maybe I could do it all in shadow. But here, this could be light. Under here will be shadow. Everything under, because the light will become more on top of him, so everything that's underneath will be more shadowy. And I'm not a professional in coloring. That's not my specialty. So I have to figure things out along the way. I did a lot of coloring, but I have to say that's not my specialty. So it's not one of my strongest points. I'm doing shadow over here because the light will fall, and this will be the shadow of his fingers. So it's all a bit like figuring things out. Like here. You get all those you call it your shapes of your hand, and it goes almost round in the palm and the inside. So you want the roundness over here a bit, curving insides inwards and downwards a bit. And this is also from his finger. So yeah, that's me figuring things out. So maybe you have a much faster way for that. Here I'm gonna accent it a bit. And then there's coloring, and then there's manga coloring, and I think those are two different things. And while I'm coloring this, I'm looking at the shapes of his finger, and I don't think this is really correct, because I think this line is supposed to be more here, and I don't know why it's here. Maybe I did the finger more inwards at first and then I went with it or something like that, but I have to correct this, but I'll do that a bit later. Now I just want to focus on the shadow itself. So now I'm gonna do the other hand, this inside and this a bit, My specialty is more the manga pages in black and white, and of course the mangification, like copying the faces of people and have a very good balance between what they look like, their personalities, and that it still feels and looks like manga. So that's something that I had to practice like for I think hundreds of them before I really get the style, before I really get the feeling like, yeah, this looks professional and this is where I'm happy with. Because in the first couple of mangifications I did, you don't want to see those. Those are horrendous. First time I did a mangification was on a convention in Rotterdam, and it was my first time. Also, well, it was not the first time drawing live. Maybe one of the first couple of times. Maybe it was the second or third time. But that can be pretty stressful, like drawing in front of a group of people, especially when you've got this tablet running and the screen facing the crowd, where everybody can see what you're doing. And crowds are gathering, and before you know it, and I'm looking down, I'm just focusing on my work, but at the same time you feel like people are watching you, and then you look up and you see like maybe 30, 40 people staring at your screen and crowd gathering. And then it can be pretty stressful to to still focus on your drawing and have self-confidence, actually, because that can have the feeling that you can be judged and people don't like it. But yeah, that's something that when you do it more often, that grows on you. That I'm not bothered with it anymore. I actually like it when people watch me draw it, and then I know that they find it interesting. If they walk away, then that's a problem, and then you know that you can't capture their attention. Now for this, what I'm doing, the shadowing, is just finding the hand you can use real life and try to get a light just to focus on it, or just memorize, or in your head have the feeling like, oh wait, the finger or the thumb is built like this, like a 3D model, that this is thicker, the light is almost like this, and this is a bit thinner. So when you put shapes together like this, you get a rounding over here. And how far is the shadow gonna reach? Well, those are things that you have to think about. I like it already. It's just a subtle shadow. I think that's the first time I do a very subtle shadow. How do you call that? I focus on the shadow being really heavy, deciding it has to be heavy. I don't know why, but I like to have it more contrasty. So I'll leave it like that. Maybe I'll change it a bit later, but I'll leave it like that for now, and then I'll just make another layer. Just drag it over here, you can see it better. Another layer for lighting. I can name this D, just for dark, and this the L for light, just to make it easy for myself. And then I'll color pick the skin color, and I'll drag it to a lighter color, almost white, but not that white, more like that. And then I'll do some lighting. So the first light that I want to do is this one here, the main light. That's in his neck. I'll just curve it around. His ear, everything, all the surfaces that are on that side, actually. And having these lights, the highlights, actually my stop word, my word that I use a lot, a habit word, is really actually. After every sentence, I almost have to say actually, and I noticed that when after watching my videos, like, why do I have to say that? Why do I have to say that all the time? But that's me, and I'm trying to be conscious about it. And now you know, so now you're gonna focus on it as well. I'm doing these highlights just to because if you got a surface and light is on it, and you got one point, mostly the highest point, it could be on a hand or a face or whatever, in this case the eyelid, the highest point will be light up, and it could be with softer, but I like to and softer I mean like the edges, it won't be that hard, it would be more smoothened. I like to have these hard edges, just to emphasis again. And here I want to get the light, like I said, like the secondary light from a little bit from behind, and it could be another color. We'll choose just to have this color. Just again, I don't want to be too stylistic with this one, just keep it more safe, just very smoothly. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the nose, maybe a bit. And here again, so it's if his face is of course round, and you have to think like, okay, then here's another point where the face is just turning corners, and where the highest point is actually. So here could also be a light point. It doesn't have to be very big. It could be just an accent thing. And maybe not. If I zoom out and I see like it's too much, then I'll still get rid of it. I don't know. maybe not. So that's basically where I decide where to put the highlights in. And that's a style choice. Not everybody needs to do it, and sometimes I just like to see, or with girls, or if I draw women, I like to do the lips also a bit, like the highlight. I don't know if it's gonna work for men as well. They get lips as well, right? So why not? Could do here a bit. Sometimes I get the question, what do you listen to when you're drawing? And it can be very different kinds of songs. But mostly the style that I'm more comfortable with, that really motivates me, is soundtracks from movies or anime or whatever. It really builds up emotion a lot, and goes from high to real low and stuff like that, and get that emotional tempo in that, and feelings. So I like to put on that a lot, and that's what I'm mostly listening to, is Jack Johnson. I don't know why, but I like most of his songs. It's weird that someone can have that many great songs. It's really weird, and it's also a style choice, of course. But I really like the way his lyrics are. Like it's smart, really smart lyrics in there. It's not all out there. It's mostly a bit hidden, sometimes double. And at the same time, I really like the sounds that it has. It feels really positive, that for one thing, but also it feels summery, and I really like the summer. I hate the cold and I hate the winter. I like warmth. And my home, we always have temperature really high, like almost like a sauna. People complain, visitors, or if we have friends over, family, they complain a lot about the temperature in our house. What are you living in, a sauna? No, but I like to. Yeah, I think warmth is something that we as humans really need, especially in these cold days. Makes your joints, your bones, and your whole body react to it. It's more like it's getting all. You don't get that stiff, and you don't have that feeling that you're. Well, if it's really cold, and I can really have the feeling that it's all going all the way through to my bones. You know, that really, really cold when you're, well, probably not in America, but here in Netherlands, we do a lot of bike riding, and not motorbike, but bicycle. We have a lot of bicycles here, and that's normal. So you go, if you don't use public transportation or have a car, then you go with the bike. And that can be really cold, even in the winter. And I did that when I was very young. Go to school every day, drive like 5 kilometers to school every day, back and forth. And in the winter, when it's really cold and snowy, oh, that can be so freezing and so cold. And I think I have a trauma about that. So yeah, I have something against cold, and this is not the country to be in if you're complaining about that. So I always wanted to go overseas, but never saw the opportunity, or never made that step. I still would like to travel. I think the States would be my pick. Where, I don't know yet, because I've never really visited. I did a little stop by in Washington, D.C., but never did I travel or really get the feeling of, just by watching movies and series and stuff like that, and documentaries. And what I noticed when I was there, just from a little stop, it was one day that I've been to Washington, D.C., is that the feeling just landing there, and the people, and for us Europeans, looking at Americans, they can be really overwhelming at times, like be really in your face. They are really loud, and but I like that a bit, like just coming forward and just expressing yourself more. And I can understand that from my European side, that can be overwhelming, especially if you're just looking for peace and quiet, and you're shouting or being more loud than other people. So I can understand that, but at the same time, I really like that openness, and that there's some warmth in there. So I like that side, and be more. I don't know. It gives me energy. I got a couple of friends here that are American, and already they can speak Dutch, for example, but I'm just like the way, or I just like to speak English with them, because you can see the energy that they have, and that's really inspirational, and also contagious in a way. So you automatically also speak very fast, and have that energy up, and you feel better after it. So I really like that about American culture. So yeah, me traveling to the States and living there, that would be something. That's always been something in my head, like I still want to do. Just travel over there, just on a vacation for maybe 5-6 weeks. Just travel wherever through all America. Like, it's too big for that, of course, for just a couple of 5 weeks, but just want to see as much places as I can, and just have the feeling like, oh, this fits me. I don't know, if you live in the States, would you, what state or what city would you recommend? I'm curious, if you live in some kind of city, are you happy where you are, or do you like to go to another city or another country even? I like to know that. And if you've got a city where you're really happy, or you're really happy about, uh, just give me a shout out. Just let me know if that's a city that would also fit me, that you think, and give me the reasons why, and not the very stereotypical reasons like, oh, yeah, because we got great Starbucks here or something like that, or but the weather must be nice. Okay, it must be warm. People must be nice. I like the crime rate to go way down because of kids, you know. So I don't like it if there's a lot of things happening there. So hit me up. I'd like to know what your if you're happy with your place, and if you would recommend it to me. So I did some lighting. I did a little, you know, this what happens. It's like I'm doing lighting and I'm talking, and before I know it, I'm just talking away for whatever kind of hours and not making very good progress. So, and also, I have two voices. Like, one is really active and shouty and trying to get my message across, and the other one is laid back and more when I'm working. And that second one is coming up right now, is that I talk more quiet, more calmly, and that's good for me drawing. But I don't know if it comes across really good, if it's not too boring to listen to. That's also something I'm troubling with. So yeah, those are all the things that I issue with when I'm doing narrations and stuff like that. But also, I just want to be careful that I'm not saying stupid things, you know. All right, I did some of the lighting, some of the shadow. It's very basic-y. It's not. Hello, where's my pen? Just gonna save this just to make sure. Yeah, it's really basic. It's not really special, but I'm gonna later I'm gonna do in some shading in there, maybe some gradients with is it arms and stuff like that, just to highlight it a bit better. So whoa, what's this? Okay, this is for his skin. Now I'm going to do his shirt. Color pick again, choose a, do the shadows first. And this line, if you're seeing this and like, what is this? It's the laptop is supposed to be on the back, but it's on a different layer, so I'll just erase these lines later on. So don't worry about it. Let's see. There's a bit of a shoulder as well. Sometimes I just trace the lines just to make it easier for myself. Like this is a shirt and it folds inwards, so there's a fold in here and that extends all the way to here. So that's a way, and then you got a little over here that folds with it. Just zoom in a bit because it's rounded again. So there's a little bit here, and those are the kind of details that really makes a difference. Here again for this fold a bit. So you have to think about where the folds are in the cloth. And that's the fun thing about doing shadows and lighting for different kind of objects. Is that it's different for different kind of objects. So for a shirt you get different rules, if you can say it like that, and different rules for his skin and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna color it all the way. through. I'm gonna light source then over here, stops over here. So this is gonna be a long video, by the way. I don't know if you're happy to see it, but if you do not wanna stick too long to this, and you don't wanna hear me blaring all the way through this coloring process, you can just, and that's a really nice function that I find you to have if you're on a mobile device, just double tap on the right or the left side of the screen just to move 10 seconds or 15 seconds forward or backwards. That's what they did really well. I'm using that a lot actually. That's pretty cool. So you can just skip it if you don't want to get too into this too long. Yeah, so this line over here, so you got the lighting coming from this side again, and I just do this side because this line, because the shadow again of this falls over it. So here is arm. So we got, let me see, here like this a bit. What Mark really does well in his videos is he shows a couple of stuff, and then he knows like, okay, I don't have anything useful to say right now, so I'm just gonna finish up the drawing, and he's gonna fast forward, and he gives a heads up like, all right, guys, I'm going to do that speed thing, and again I'm going to fast forward it. That's something I really like, and maybe I'm gonna get inspired by that and do the same. But I did that in the Manga Yourself videos, and I'm still working on. The first one is on. That's the whole drawing, or the first lines that I did. And the second one is still about the inking. But I haven't gone and do those ones yet, because I'm still having projects and stuff to finish. What I did was I did the shadow on the same layer. Oh man. All right, not a problem. Just finish this one up. But yeah, so what I did in those videos is that I tried that, like, okay, now I'm going to fast forward, or now we're gonna jump leap, and I'll just finish this. But what happens when I'm doing it, I'm just drawing, and I find out that I have stuff to tell in between, and just think of something like, oh, and that's already 5 minutes when I'm into the whole thing. Like, okay, we're gonna do a speeding up process now. Okay, and then I'm but wait, and then you have to stop again. So that didn't make sense, and so Mark really did that really well, and he knows when to shut up and just draw or focus on his work. But I'm not, maybe I have to do more videos for that, just to find out what works for me. Because he did a lot more videos like that, of course, than I did. I'm pretty new in this whole sort of tutorial, watch me draw kind of video. Add here another line, another fold in his clothes. Maybe here one, it's just a continuation of that fold. Then you have these little details over here. Well, and those are very important. It really makes the shape more 3D, gives more direction of where the light is, where the shadow is going to be, give it more 3D feeling. Maybe, I'm just thinking about this right now, is maybe I should do like a live video for this, for these kind of things, because I can draw and I don't necessarily have to talk, but you can react and you can have something like, oh wait, what did you do there? And why did you do that? Because for me it's pretty difficult to retrace my steps and explain why I'm doing these things, because I'm just into drawing that much. Just like it's sometimes hard for me to separate my creativity and my understanding, my analysis. If I'm drawing, I like to be in that state just to be more creative. So it's pretty difficult to go back and forward for that. To focus on one thing at a time, because now I'm talking again and I find it already difficult to focus on what I'm doing and forget sometimes what I'm doing, like forgetting like, oh yeah, the light source was over here, okay, I have to retrace my steps again, or I'm working a much slower than I usually do. I like to have more folds in here. Isn't that clean? Because it isn't. And maybe your content, you're happy with what I'm doing here, so maybe this is just enough. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Actually, the lines that I'm doing now are really the extensions of the folds. So this is a fold and it's an extension of that. And instead of connecting the lines all over, I sometimes do a little gap in between, like I'm doing here. Because the folds aren't always the same thickness. Sometimes it has a starting point and then the light source comes and corrects it again. Yeah, that's all your decision of style-wise, of if it makes sense. So there are a couple of things you really have to think about. Be careful not to do too much over here, because there's still light coming from here. Let's see, I'm doing this right. Be more a bit higher up here, going inwards. Like this. Now I'm just gonna play with the light. Oh wait, just one more fold. That's the fold over here. Just gonna extend this one. I'm gonna make it 1. And this is why I like to use different layers. And now I have to go back and grab that color again. And if I make a mistake, I have to do it again. It's much easier if I work on another layer. More control, like I said. It's going much faster. Right, I'll leave it like that, and then I'll do the light on a different layer. Don't make the same mistake twice. Make it a bit lighter. Let's see if it's light enough. Yeah. And the lighting of this also has to do with the color of the light, the room, where he is, the sun, if it's natural lighting or not, different color lighting. If it's natural lighting, what kind of light does the sun radiate? Is like sunset, more warm and orangey, or is it more like daylight and hard light? So yeah, that's things you have to decide when drawing or doing coloring, which makes it much more interesting. That's a fact. Well, I like coloring, and especially looking at it, and like to improve myself on different kind of areas. But like I said, it's not my specialty. It's not something that I really crave for doing, and there are some points when I look at work of other people and I see some really beautiful drawings and really beautiful coloring that they did, then it really motivates me and challenges me to do the same. Like, oh, I want to be good in that, or I want to be able to color like that. And then I get motivated and try looking up some tutorials and try to see if I can do the same. Alright, this is a bit of lighting, gives a bit more 3D shape, which is pretty cool. And I just realized that his shirt isn't blue, it's gray. So now I have to redo it, or not redo it, but change it. And I can do so by just do an effect on it instead of coloring it. Go to hue and saturation. I have to put it out of full screen mode to activate this one. Like this. Yeah. Right, now yeah, it's on there. That's also pretty cool. It's also why I like to do things digital. Let's see the picture, what kind of tone he got here. Where is it? Where's my... It's not open, that's weird. Did I close it? Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right. Oh God. Come on. Still have to do this one. So after that one, I'm gonna turn back for this one. Also coloring. Yeah. All right. This is all a bit yellowish, the whole tint, but I can still decide on what I want to go for. And what I also noticed is this shadow over here, just to highlight, and I made the line over here, just to highlight is upper arm a bit and towards his elbow. I really like this shadow over here. Maybe I'm still gonna copy it, but I'm not. I don't know if it's gonna fit, but okay. A bit darker. All right. I'm going for this, and now I have to do the highlight, change the highlight also, but I can just do that into the layer itself, just color overlay and do it. Maybe color pick this one, do a lighter version. And then it's too warm now. See if we're gonna do bluish. We go all the way gray. All right. I'm going for this for his gray shirt. And now I have to do his hair. But now I'm already recording 50 minutes. I think, yeah, okay, and we're going for a full hour and then I'm gonna stop this video. That will be enough me talking to you guys. So again, let me know if this video with narration is something for you, if that is something you'd like to see more. If you do, leave a comment in the comment section. Give me also a like if you like it, and share this video if you, yeah, that really helps me out. Okay, his hair. Let's do his hair. It's real fast. Okay, I got one layer for his hair like this, and then I need to duplicate it because I want to do a gradient and some color effects in it, but you can't do it on the original layer if you have other layers attached to it. That's really weird something. But yeah, I really did some shading in there. And I did these lines that you see, these really ugly lines in his hair, just to give a bit of a border lines for the coloring, for the shadows. And now I can erase them, which I'm going to do right now because they are bugging me. So I'm gonna turn off the color of his hair again and just erase these ugly lines. I'll do that just in this line. I'll just do an what is it called, a factor mask. I'll do a factor mask, and then in that factor mask I'm going to erase these lines. And also this is also a way of control. You can I don't need those lines. I can just throw them away because they're too ugly. They're more sketchy. It doesn't fit the whole drawing. So I could do it with an eraser, but like I said, if you have more control with doing a factor mask, because you can just, if you press X, you'll change colors again, and with the white, you'll bring everything back. And with black, if you paint black in this factor mask, you're erasing it. So that is a way of gaining control or having control on your project, and I like that. So I'm just gonna erase these lines real quick. I like this line actually. And the Control Z, man, or the Command C on the Mac, that's a lifesaver. That, again, I'm an artist that really my main focus for my drawings is just to speed things up, especially if I do these mangifications. Then I have to work faster because I just have too many mangifications or mangify coming in, and I just can't spend that much time on one drawing. And yeah, then I have to work faster. So the time is one thing that I definitely prioritize on when I'm drawing. So that's mostly why I'm working digital. And if I could work just as fast traditionally, then I would do it traditionally, because I really like the whole the rest thing, giving it more rest and more into the moment, and getting away from the screens that we are in modern day doing a lot in our screens, phones and television and computers and stuff like that. So if I could avoid it, then I would, but unfortunately I can't. Why am I not having control? That's weird. Wow, whoa, what is happening? Okay. That's, it looks like my pen pressure isn't working like it should, because I'm just doing these lines. It's supposed to be really small. Maybe I have a, no, that does not work at all. Let's try this one. Pen pressure. All right. Okay, we still got 2 minutes left, guys. So I'm just gonna wrap things up. Yeah, again, let me know if you like this video, if it was helpful for you. I didn't do a lot of talking about the drawing itself, but that's what you get when you're going to narrate things, or when I narrate things, is when I have the attempt just to go off topic and just talk about I don't know. I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. So I hope this was helpful. If it did, like I said, leave me a thumbs up. Show it in my comments. I surely read all of the comments that I get. I don't reply on them that much, because I know when I'm replying one message, then I get well, carried away by having the feeling that I have to reply to all of you, and I unfortunately do not have that time, that many times. So sometimes I just reply on the things that I find necessary, or that I find just in the moment feel like it will help others out, or myself, for more videos or stuff like that. All right. 1 minute left. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you are having a great day, and I hope you will have a great December month with a lot of holidays in between, with Christmas and Thanksgiving that was recently. I hope you're having a blast of a time, and hopefully we can get more videos for the new year. That's my goal. My new year wishes for 2018 is making more videos and more content, and I hope to do more about that. So again, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, share, you know the drill. Thank you, and gambate, Jane.